What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Mirza on Mir TV, and with the transfer window coming to a close soon, here are the top 5 players that we could realistically sign in this transfer window. Now, no, I said realistically just because I'm not going to name Messi, I'm not going to name Ronaldo, because these are all players that we would like to have, but these are not realistic whatsoever in the slightest. So, these are all players that could potentially sign. Some we have been linked to, some not so much. But these are players that I think we should have a look at. And I'm not a professional scout, so maybe there are other better players out there. But these are just the ones that I feel personally that we should look at. So starting at number 5, Xhaka from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Just because we need a ball sprayer, we need someone that can get the ball and pass it to the flanks. Alonso, he's only got 1 year left on his contract. He's doing okay. Like he had a really bad start, sort of. That 1-2 game versus Wolfsburg and whatnot. So he had a few bad games, but his last game, if his last game is anything to go by, it looks like he's back to normal form again. And but he is quite old, so I would like someone like Xhaka to come in to be able to be that ball sprayer. That's why I wish we wouldn't have sold Toni Kroos, because he is one of those ball sprayers. Get the ball, pass it to a wing, pass it forward, that kind of player. And Granit Xhaka is exactly that kind of player, so I think we should look at him just so we have someone in that kind of position. And we have been sort of linked with him. I mean, I think it was Favre that said that they're not gonna sell Xhaka to us. So that's it. That was it. But realistically, we could sign him if we really put the money on the table. And I think that maybe this year or next year we should look at him and see, if he wants to move to us. Now, number 4, De Bruyne. Now, hold your pitchforks. I know what he's saying. Okay. That guy is rumored to go to Man City. Even Sky Sport Germany say that he's going to Man City on Monday. So all the German media and whatnot, all the English media, they're all saying De Bruyne is going to City. However, and here's the big but. Although I did say however, but still, here's the big but. There was a Belgium newspaper that recently, like yesterday, linked him to us. They are not trustworthy in the least. I'll be honest here. The Belgian newspaper, they're not trustworthy in the least, because they were saying that Courtois will go to Real Madrid. That didn't happen. They're basically always wrong with Belgian players. So it is in this case, if they would be wrong, it's not like nobody would see that coming. But yeah, still a newspaper. So according to them, De Bruyne, like Bayern, has made one bid because Rummenigge recently said that we won't go after De Bruyne just because Wolfsburg have said that they're 99% not selling him, and they don't want to get on Wolfsburg's nerve, so they won't go for him. But now that it looks like Wolfsburg is gonna let De Bruyne leave, it could be that Bayern be like, hey, hold on a second. If you guys are willing to let him leave, let's make a final offer. That could happen, because he can play he mainly plays on the wings for Wolfsburg. He's kind of like a Roma, sort of like Müller, you just see him everywhere on the field, left, right, and in the center. So he could play on the wings, but then he could also drift to the middle. So he's basically everywhere in front, free potentially. He's not a striker, so only the front three. But he has talent. If his last 2 games are anything to go by, then you normally think that there's no way a team would pay 70-80 million for him, and I don't see Bayern playing that much. Just because Wolfsburg will want to keep De Bruyne in the league. So I think that if Wolfsburg were to sell him to Bayern Munich, they'd sell him for maybe 40 million, 45 million, which would be a decent price for someone like him. But obviously, if it's to Manchester City, they will try and get every nickel and every dime. So, Kevin De Bruyne, maybe, we've been linked to him in the past, and Rummenigge has even stated that he wants him, but because Wolfsburg have said that they don't want to sell him, that he's not going for him this year. He said next year, but obviously Wolfsburg have loosened up a little, so maybe De Bruyne. Number 3, Kamil Glik from Torino. Now here's the problem. He is a captain. And I don't think that Torino would want to sell their captain and one of the key defenders this late in the transfer period, this late in the transfer window. So it is very unlikely. But now that Benatia is injured, if Bayern were to give them, let's say, 35 million, I don't think they would refuse. I don't see them refusing. And the reason why I think that Kamil Glik is like the most realistic centre back that we could possibly get is simply due to the fact that his agent has recently, about a month ago, said that he is talking to Bayern Munich, and that they've been talking for quite a while. So they've had a talk already. Maybe everything was established with them. Bayern was like, you know what, we've got Batshuayi, we've got Javi, we've got all these players, and we really don't need a centre back. So thank you for the talk, but I think we're gonna stay with our centre backs. Maybe that's what happened. Who knows? But if that's the case, we could talk to him again and be like, you still want to move? And he's like, yeah, sure. Then we could get him. We could. Now, he'd be worth about, like I said, normally he's worth about 25 million maybe. But if we were to give Torino 35 million, I don't think they'd refuse at all. So he'd be a great option. And now with Benatia injured, he looks likely. It's possible. It's possible. That's all I'm going to say. Number 2. And a name that we've been linked with today again is Kingsley Coman. Now, according to a few sources, La Gazzetta dello Sport from Italy and RTL France, who's both in France, obviously, and in German, both a TV station. Since they're in both countries, you normally and obviously Kingsley Coman is French. You normally assume that they would actually know something, but as it turns out, the source from them is Alexis Menouge, who is the biographer, who wrote the biography of Frank Ribery. So it's not really, it's not really a credible source. It's just like one person saying that, and they just thought, okay, you know what, he's quite big, so let's just let's just make a news article out of that, and let's just say what he said. So if that's the case, then all we have is La Gazzetta dello Sport, who is quite reliable. I'm going to say quite, not 100%, but quite reliable. And according to them, we've made a 18 to 20 million euros offer, which is a lot of money for a 19-year-old. I mean, a lot of people have said when we signed Costa that 30 million was a lot, but Costa, he was playing regularly for a Champions League club, whereas Kingsley Coman, he's 19 years old, right? And he's really just been a sub for Juventus, so he's not, he isn't even a regular starter. So it is a lot of money for a young player, but if you want a winger that is able to play on the wings as well, if you want a winger basically that is young and then can get into the role, he could be the perfect player. So Kingsley Coman, about 20 million. I think Juventus would be crazy to turn that kind of money down. I know, like, they recently got Cuadrado from Chelsea on a loan. I think it's a 1-year loan. But, it still would be crazy for them to turn 20 million down for Kingsley Coman because he's only 19 years old. So that's a lot of money for someone that young. Who knows? Will we go from... Rummenigge, he stated that, he had talks with Juventus about Kingsley Coman. He said that about 3 weeks ago, that he had talks with Kingsley Coman, and that they said that they don't want to sell him, but now obviously if we're making a bigger offer, maybe. Now, number 1, and out of all these transfers, I think that he is probably the least likely to move, and that is Nacho Fernandez from Real Madrid. He's 25 years old, a centre back. And the reason why I think he's really unlikely to move is because he just recently extended his contract with Real Madrid. But the thing is that he hardly plays. He's literally a sub. He's not a starter at all, and with 25 years old, not being a starter, that is quite bad. So he doesn't even have a good chance of getting into the Spain national team just because he's not a starter. He's got Varane, Pepe and Ramos to get past, and it's not easy getting past those players, because all of them are great. And Varane, I would personally have liked him to be at Bayern Munich, but he is just far too expensive. Real Madrid would want 70, 80 million from him, and that is there no player, and no centre back, is worth that much. So yeah, I think Nacho Fernandez, he the thing that makes him great is his positioning, which is kind of important for our system because you need a fast centre back or great positioning one, and Benatia is a bit of both, Boateng, he's really fast and his positioning is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But his speed makes up for it. So if we have someone with great positioning, that could kind of help. We could have someone that would be the one being the leader kind of in the defense. Telling the team, okay, let's just go forward a little so that we can play them all offside. That kind of thing. Interesting, it will be interesting if we were to get him, just because I know the press would be like, oh, look at this, the Spanification is going on, which is just crazy in my opinion. But I'd personally like him, just because, his positioning is great, and he hardly plays, which means that he might be likely to go, but obviously he extended his contract, which can also mean that, Real Madrid is his favourite club, and that's why he doesn't want to leave, even if he only plays a sub role. Who knows? But these are just my top 5. Leave your top 5 in the comment section down below. Which player would you really want Bayern to sign? If, let's say, money was no object, and we could buy only one player this year, who would you get? Tell me in the comment section down below. As always, this was Mirza and Mir TV. Rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Peace out. Have a nice day, and bye.